I slammed my hand against the control console, sparks flying up into the air like impatient fireflies. The ship shuddered beneath me, its dilapidated metal skin groaning in protest as I fought against the system's flaws. Come on, come on, I muttered through gritted teeth, desperately attempting to reroute power from the fluctuating shields to the navigation grid. If I didn't regain control soon, we would not just be collateral damage in the chaos of Cora Prime's storms. We'd join the debris orbiting the planet, drifting aimlessly for eternity. Seb, we've got company. Oral's voice, frantic and tinged with dread, broke through the static behind me. I shot a glance through the cockpit's cracked viewport, where I could just make out the streaks of ill-defined shapes weaving through the violet clouds. Ship. Hunters, the kind that thrived in chaos like carnivorous plants in a rainforest. I couldn't quit the salvage operation now. Brenna's life depended on me piloting us out of this hellhole. The comms crackled again. We need to get out of here now. You need to. I'm aware, I snapped, thumping the console again for emphasis, as if that would somehow fix it. My heart raced, blood was drumming in my ears, urging me to act. But the truth was, the stakes extended beyond just us three remaining on the Aurelius. If I didn't get us clear before the ship, hunters locked onto our signals, we were finished. I glanced over at Oral, and his wide eyes reflected the swirling chaos outside, where lightning sparked and crackled like a living entity, ready to consume anything in its path. We're running low on power, Oral yelled, doing his best to sound calm even as his fingers flew over the second console. I could see how he barely restrained his own growing panic. All we knew about this sector was that it was a graveyard where vessels like ours came to die. My heart sank at the truth, and beneath the immediate terror, a gnawing resentment simmered within me. Why did Brenna involve us in this mission? This was her mess, after all, a risky salvage operation for an experimental technology that should have been left to those who didn't mind clinging to the edges of the void. And now, here we were caught between reckless ambition and primal survival. Seb, pull us up. The Oral strained against the control sticks. Another crackle erupted from the comms, blaring aggressively. Incoming contact at 2 o'clock. A warning blared from the ship's system as an alarm clanged in what felt like a death knell. The cockpit panels burst forth with blinding red lights, signaling the urgency of our situation. Adjust the shields to the back. I shouted, my voice steady despite the storm of emotions raging within me. A surge of light illuminated everything outside a ship. Hunter had strayed too close to the storm's eye. Like wolves circling a wounded beast, they could smell our fear. Oral scrambled, dedicating his attention to the panel, but it was too late. The jolt of their weapons crackled against our weakened shields, sending us tumbling like a ragged kite in the wind. Hold on. I gripped the control stick tight, my palms sweating, as I drew on every ounce of skill I had honed over years of navigating through terrain plagued by the erratic whims of Cora Prime's atmosphere. But I was no hero, merely a fool drawn into this chaos by Brenna's charm. Now, I had to decide who I was willing to betray my own instinct to flee, or an unyielding loyalty to my crew. The sickening lurch sent me sprawling against the console, as we fell from the grip of a haze, like a comet stripped of its blazing tail. I heaved a breath, staring into the dark throes of the storm. How much longer until we can restore power? 10 seconds, Oral shouted. But if we don't hit the energy boost line, we're done for. 10 seconds could stretch into oblivion or warping fate. My resolve fortified as I inhaled sharply. I could already feel the turbulence whispering secrets to me, beckoning me toward the intricately woven web of stability hidden in the chaos. Maybe I could push the grid past its limits. The instinct to fight against the tempest surged within me. Keep your eyes on the screen, I barked, my voice cutting sharply through the static. We're pushing our luck here. If I can't reroute in time, you know, Seb. Oral's voice cracked. Whatever's in that energy line will, exactly, I interrupted. It's a risk I'm willing to take. We either surge through or get ripped apart by these predators. A breath drew in deep like a roaring flame, and I found the right timing. The ship lurched violently as I shouted what seemed like a mad prayer. then made my choice. The flash of critical data streamed faster than my nerves could process, but instincts took over. Like a game of chess played against a chaotic storm, gravity shifted strangely, and for a moment I felt pure exhilaration. A taste of freedom intertwined with the chaos swirling outside. Brenna's risk was still alive in my breath, reminding me that even in the shadows of the storm, sometimes the species that thrived on chaos had to make their own luck. "Brace for a thunderclap," I yelled, trusting the ship to meet my will with design, praying it wouldn't betray us. I flipped the switches, and in that heartbeat, silence reigned. Then came the mighty roar. The thunderclap jolted through the Aurelius, a roar that reverberated in my bones as power surged through the ship, wrapping around us like a shield made of strength and pure will. The storm outside brightened, illuminating the cockpit with flickers of violet and electric blue light, as the essence of the tempest responded to our desperate push for life. Oral hung on to his console, knuckles white, eyes wide with disbelief. "We were moving," he gasped, voice cracking through the chaos. I fought to keep my pulse steady as I piloted us upward. The ship hissed and whined, metallic protest echoing my own trepidation, but we ascended. Through the cockpit viewport, I saw the ship. Hunters jerk away from their own predatory pursuits, caught off guard by the sudden thrust against the storm. I felt the tether of fate shift once again, the universe granting us a reprieve. Just as I thought we'd escaped the worst, a flash of light split the darkness like a jagged tooth. "Incoming," shouted Oral, eyes drawn to another ship. Hunter that had reckoned with our sudden maneuver. They'd reset their sights on us, deadly weapons poised to strike. "Hang on, I'll try to." My resolve broke into a fight-or-flight jolt. I barreled the Aurelius toward the edge of the storm, weaving through time and uncertainty, the symphony of thunder pressing in around us. With a fierce determination, my fingers maneuvered the controls, executing risky turns with the precision of frantic ballet. The ship responded like a dancer forced to adhere to my orders. We might have been damaged, but together we transcended the storm. Oral's voice crackled through the comms, both horrified and awe-filled. "We're too far out to make it back to the nearest port, and if those hunters get too close, we're done," and that was the terrible truth. Beyond this storm lay countless other dangers, the vastness of uncharted space spiraling infinitely ahead. I squeezed my eyes shut for a fleeting moment, picturing Brenna's determined face, the smirk she wore when she spoke of treks through storms like this. "What do we do?" I forced the question past my lips, the knot in my stomach preventing me from voicing the fear beneath it. Oral looked out through the frozen window, unsure. "We can't outrun them. They know this sector better than we do. They won't stop." "They will. Then let's not give them a chance." I adjusted our course, and like a marionette, the ship obeyed, spiraling down toward the rugged crags of Cora Prime's landscape below, a place riddled with ancient ruins tucked beneath the tempest's belly. "Seb, what are you doing?" Oral shouted, but his voice faded into the roar of the storm. "That's treacherous terrain. We'll have to risk it," I shouted back defiantly. "If there's one thing I know about the ship, hunters, it's that they won't dare to follow us into the heart of ruin." Though I led the Aurelius closer, dread burrowed like worms through my gut. There was no guarantee the ship could withstand what lay ahead, but desperation cloaked my better judgment. I'd seen the ruins before, a tribe of technology long forsaken by present civilizations. The hope was to lose our pursuers amidst the ghosts of a forsaken civilization. Just as I'd anticipated, their sleek ships broke from the clouds, piercing the veil between predator and prey. I threw us downward with a crash, heart racing faster, adrenaline surging as the ship shrieked against a fray of metal and history. Suddenly, the muted cacophony of the storm morphed into the surreal echoes of a civilization long lost, crumbling before us. "Let's go," Oral shouted. "This is our only chance." I navigated a narrow archway of ancient stone, steep and jagged, that led toward a sanctuary shrouded within overgrown vines and battle-scarred fragments. I could see the remnants of technological structures lying dormant beneath layers of vines, obscuring the shadow of their former glory. The ship touched down with a bone-rattling jolt, the swift rush of energy slowing as silence intervened, wrapping us like a time capsule suspended in an uncharted past. The cockpit shuddered to an uncertain stillness. As the ship settled, we gleamed out into the overgrown ruins that stretched in every direction like skeletal arms, desperately reaching toward an unknown sun. "We're safe, for now," Oral whispered, weakly clutching the console. Beneath that fragile safety, my thoughts spiraled deeper. I wondered about Brenna, where the treachery of our loyalty had led us half a universe away from reason. Would she have the resolve to understand, to meet us here, or would she abandon us for the lure of technology she so craved, throwing us into the ditch of desperation? And then a rustle broke through the silence. A figure stepped from the shadows, emerging into the ruins' flickering gloom. "No!" I shouted instinctively, reflexively clutching at the control lever. "You!" The stranger stood tall, illuminated under the pale hue of the storm, revealing a young woman cloaked in ragged fabric that seemed a part of the ruins. The remnants of tech adorned her shoulders, wiring woven intricately into patterns that eerily mirrored the designs that decorated the decaying structures looming around us. "Easy there," she said, voice cool and steady, albeit unsure. "You're in my territory." "Your territory?" I stammered, my heart still racing. Coming from her, that sounded absurd. Yes, or what remains of it. She brushed wisps of dark hair from her face, exposing strikingly familiar features, a glimpse of lost community, yet tethered by a fierce independence. "Who are you?" Oral interjected, his voice barely concealing fear. "I'm Lyra," she stated boldly, "and you're trespassing." "On what?" I demanded. "There's no civilization anymore, just remnants." "Enough remnants," she countered, stepping forward, making clear I couldn't dismiss her spirit. "And those ship hunters have been thwarted before. They'll come after you too. It's a matter of time. What do you know about this?" I challenged, half wanting to push her away at the veiled realization that she might know more about Brenna's chaos than I'd gathered. "Enough to know they'll come searching for whatever tech you're scouring for." Her eyes shimmered, their depths drawing me in, and for an instant the storm beyond faded into an echo. "But your ship, you won't find it here." "Brenna, our leader, the name slipped past my lips before I could stop it, the urgency returning with an almost primal instinct. "She'll come for you, for the tech." Lyra's expression darkened with resolve, an edge of caution coloring her words. "You just need to hold on long enough." And in that charged silence, beneath the detritus of a lost civilization, another storm was brewing, one that promised to reshape our legacies. My fear was entwined with desperation, threads of loyalty tightening like wires ready to snap. "Then we'll have to protect each other," I found myself murmuring, awareness dawning of the alliances I needed to make, and the depth of the journey ahead, the urgency of moving toward an uncertain fate. And as the once imbued ghosts of the storm gathered around us, whispers of fear morphed into new mysteries, roaming free. Beneath the remnants of history, we stood here, both found and lost, against the unyielding storm. What we would uncover in that tangle of fear and hope was beyond our comprehension, but it was there, dormant and awaiting the spark to ignite. What lay ahead threatened us, but it also promised revelations that would echo through the ages of time lost and gained. Brenna would need to understand, and I needed to know what she was really after. But for now, surrounded by shadows and secrets, we were all that remained for one another. The echoes of the storm outside grew distant, but within the wreckage of the ruins, a different kind of tension thrummed like a plucked string. Lyra's presence was unsettling, an unexpected variable in a scenario I had thought I understood. Oral stood a breath behind me, wary but curious, caught between fear and instinctual kinship. "What do you want from us?" I asked, bristling under the weight of her scrutiny. Lyra smiled, but the softness in her expression did not reach her eyes. "It's survival primarily," she replied, glancing back out into the storm's embrace, "and maybe to keep the likes of you from stumbling into oblivion. Right, because we clearly know how to keep ourselves safe, Oral chimed in, his voice laced with sarcasm. Ignoring him, I took a step closer, positioning myself as an anchor against the walls of uncertainty. Those ship. Hunters will be looking for more than just our ship. Exactly. Lyra stepped forward, her gaze penetrating. They want the tech you chased after. Something dangerous lies beneath this ruined city, something you likely can't even fathom. What do you mean? Oral's tone shifted to cautious intrigue. The storm is hiding more than just wreckage, she replied, her voice low and conspiratorial. There are ancient energy sources buried deep within these ruins, powerful enough to attract their kind. It's not a gentle lure, it's a beacon they can't resist. If they catch wind of your intentions, is that what Brenna is after? The tech? The name tumbled from my lips like shattered glass. Beneath the surface of that precious cargo lay my greatest fear. The truth I had avoided until now. Sounds like you owe her more than bravado, Lyra said softly, the corners of her mouth twitching. A blend of mockery and sympathy. But it seems she may yet lead you into deeper conflict. Her eyes glimmered knowingly, as if she had seen the relentless pursuit of ambition time and time again. Then we can't stay, I declared, steeling myself. We need to get back in the ship and leave. Lyra shook her head slowly, but my breath quickened with urgency. They'll be looking for you, and this sector is a net. They're eager to tighten around their prey. The ruins might be your only shelter, until you can find another way out. How are we supposed to find our way to freedom in the dark? How do we avoid those hunters? My desperation gave rise to an underlying frustration with Brenna's reckless decision-making. But instead of venting, I needed to adapt. That will depend on how resourceful you can get, Lyra said, her tone shifting toward the constructive. We're not as alone as you think. Others are hiding amongst the ruins. You might find allies if you know where to look, but you'll need to move. Their hold on power here is strong. And in that moment, seeds of reluctance merged with an unexpected tantalizing thrill. Oral and I exchanged hesitant glances. He was clearly grappling with fear, yet I sensed the same surge of adrenaline rushing through us both. The uncertainties offered a daring invitation. Maybe amidst ruins and terrors, we could discover the light hidden within the darkness. How do we find these allies? I asked. The Malorians have kept watch over these ruins for generations, Lyra explained, her voice lowering as if a mere whisper might summon the ancient beings. They're silent keepers of knowledge, but they emerge at dusk. An unbroken thread of tradition binds them to this world. What's that supposed to mean? Oral questioned. Lyra folded her arms, eyebrows arching. It means you'll need to encounter the very essence of this place. Learn to navigate these ruins not as scavengers, but as kin to those who have remained. I swallowed hard, the challenge unfurling before us like a labyrinthine tapestry. Each thread beckoned to our survival, weaving deeper into the mystery at hand. Right then, I said, newfound determination tightening my grip on the battled ship's controls. What's our first step? For a heartbeat, Lyra hesitated, considering the words carefully as if they bore the weight of a sacrament. Tonight, as the storm veils the light, parley with the shadows of the Malorians. Get ready for some strange rituals, and prepare to barter for what they know. As twilight slipped across the horizon, the storm hung thick and impenetrable around us. But fear shivered underneath. Acceptance twisted our excitement, birthing a restless fervor. Come on, I motioned to Oral. We need to gear up. Check the ship's supplies. Aye, Captain, he retorted, falling close behind me as we slipped back into the Aurelius. The cockpit was alive with muted glow, a constant reminder of the chaos outside, yet within these walls stood the promise of resilience. Together, we sifted through our dwindling resources, gathering weapons and necessities that remained mostly intact. It wasn't long before I found an isolated energy weapon. Its mechanisms whirred gently in my grasp, a piece of tech I couldn't fathom but somehow felt tethered to. Do you really think we'll find allies? Oral asked, his voice soft. We're out of options, Oral, I replied, locking eyes with him. If we're going to find Brenna, or whatever rush she ignites outside of here. It has to begin within these ruins. As twilight deepened and eerie shadows began to stretch across the cockpit's threshold, I couldn't help but feel we were straddling a line between anticipation and dread. It felt primal and unforgiving, as if whatever lay beneath the ruins prepared itself for our arrival. An hour later, the ruins hummed under a deepening twilight, a nervous hush falling around us as we prepared to venture outside. My heart pounded erratically, the weight of 1,000 unknowns pressing down on my spirit. And then Lyra appeared at the entrance, her dark silhouette casting an uncertain shape against the dim light. "Let's begin," she said, beckoning us forward. With a hesitant breath, I stepped into the unknown alongside Oral, the familiar hum of chaos at our backs, a storm of destiny awaiting us ahead. The pulsating energy of the ruins wrapped around us like a shroud, each step pushing deeper into their web of mystery, tethering us to the choices yet to be made. As we wove through the remnants of the lost civilization, I could feel a connection brewing beneath my skin, deepening like roots seeking the soil. Here in this frail place, full of danger and promise, we prepared to confront the most persistent relationships that had birthed us, the bonds that tethered us to survival against the gathering storm, and the shadowy encounters awaiting us as we approached the heart of secrets entwined in the fabric of the universe. Our journey had only just begun, and along this chain, each choice we made would find echoes in the darkest corridors of Cora Prime's legacy. Would it be light we discovered together or further descent into the unknown? Only time would reveal which paths converged and which threads would sever under the weight of truth. In the ruins we were forged anew, the meaning of loyalty carved in uncertainty, and the meaning of survival shaped by what we dared to unveil as we pressed onward into the depths. The universe held its breath, leaving us teetering on the precipice of discovery, where every step would lead us closer to the nexus of fate, entangled in the shadows that longed for the light we were yet to find. Emerging from the cockpit of the Aurelius felt like stepping from one reality into another, where every shadow seemed poised to dance with secrets, each creaking vine a whisper of lost knowledge. I could hear Oral's shallow breaths beside me, a nervous cadence that underscored the stillness, the unfamiliar heaviness of the air swirling around us. Lyra led the way through the crumbling ruins, her silhouette merging seamlessly into the growing darkness, a specter beckoning to us through the deluge of uncertainty. The tangled foliage hung thick, like a drapery of whispers that wrapped the ancient structures in a shroud. Moonlight filtered through the restless leaves overhead, casting patterns that flickered in the hues of twilight, shadows darting like phantoms. Mischief incarnate, I felt the pull of the unknown, a blend of dread and curiosity igniting a fire within. "Wait," Lyra instructed, stopping us short. She gestured toward a fissure in the stone, a jagged opening that would be easily dismissed by untrained eyes, but a shimmering light emanated from within, threading its way through the cracks of the old world. "What is that?" Oral murmured, squinting at the ethereal radiance. "A portal," she said simply, her eyes gleaming with a truth that had danced just out of reach. "A nexus, fragile yet powerful. The Malorians might use it, but it is unpredictable, especially during the storm. What happens if we step inside?" I asked, a creeping unease curling in my gut. "Does it take us somewhere? It connects realms," she replied, "but you must tread carefully. The currents can disorient and influence the very nature of your intent." Oral shivered at her words, his hand twitching unconsciously over the edge of the ship's energy weapon. The trepidation mirrored in his eyes shook me to my core. I drew in a breath, grappling with the implications of what lay beyond. Did we dare tread that path? Before I could voice my consideration, the air around us flickered with uncertainty. The shimmering light pulsated as if inviting us, whispering promises of everything and nothing, a call to purpose that resonated deep within our souls. "Let's find the Malorians," I finally said, rearing back against the allure of the portal. "Sticking together in known territory seems wiser. If we can gain their trust," my voice trailed off beneath the weight of choice. Lyra nodded, seeming to sense the exchange of reluctance and courage swirling within us. That's the right approach, she affirmed, her voice gentle but steady. But we don't have much time before the ship. Hunters return. Step lightly. The Malorians are protectors, deeply attuned to their land. With renewed energy, we pressed on, zigzagging through the labyrinth of ancient debris. Ahead, an archway loomed, its stone cracked and adorned with glyphs that twisted around one another like tales of an ageless saga. Beneath it, the bones of old technology protruded from the earth, guardians of forgotten histories. "Do you think they're here?" Oral whispered, glancing back and forth as if the Malorians might emerge at any moment. "The protectors or allies, whatever you want to call them. They won't reveal themselves unless they sense us," Lyra answered, moving forward with a sense of purpose, her boots crunching against the shingle of despair. "But as ethereal as they are, they will know your intent before you can formulate a plan." We reached the archway, and the light of the storm shimmered through it, casting shadows upon the ground that had become a mosaic of light and dark. Huddling closer together, the air shifted as if the world held its breath. As I stood beneath that arch, I felt a slight jolting sensation course through me. The intricate patterns on my arm glinted faintly, resonating to some invisible rhythm, and I couldn't shake the feeling that everything was connected. Past, present, and future woven together like threads of an expansive tapestry. And then it happened. With a gentle rustle, figures coalesced from the shadows, emerging like spirits from the emanating light. Ethereal and ephemeral, they appeared to be dressed amalgams of technology and ancient cloth, tending more to the essence of the ruins than the physicality of flesh, seekers of truth. A voice, liquid and layered, sliced through the air, resonating within me a melody of ancient wisdom. The Malorians drifted forward, one stepping slightly ahead of the others. Emanating from them was a vibrant glow that pulsed like a heartbeat, their forms shifting gracefully as though flowing across the surface of a quiet pond. "Why do you come?" The primary figure, a tall, willowy being with striking luminescent patterns swirling along its arms, asked, eyes aglow like stars peering into distant tales. "We search for answers," I began, trembling at the unexpected depth of vulnerability in my voice. We were pursuing an unknown technology, and it has led us here. We are fleeing the ship. Hunters, I voiced the fear, my heart racing as I recalled the threats looming beyond the ruins. One of the Malorians stepped closer, studying us intently, its gaze piercing into the marrow of my determination. "You know not what you seek." The voice resonated in echoes, as though every syllable came from the ground beneath us. Yet all seek something, even the echoes of storms. A weight hung in the air, a tether strung tight between uncertainty and revelation. "What does that mean?" Oral asked, clenching his fists in instinctual defiance. "It is time for the truth to be wrought," the foremost Malorian replied, stepping to the side as tendrils of light flickered in the darkness, illuminating the distant remnants of the ancient civilization. "To uncover what is concealed beneath layers of time." "What do you mean?" I interjected, feeling urgency tugging at me. "We need to know if there is something in these ruins that can help." The primary figure raised a hand, silencing me with a firm but gentle gesture. "To unearth the truth, you must embrace your fate, entwined in destiny yet unexplored. It lies in your hearts as much as the tech you pursue. Choices define worlds." With those words, the air shimmered, whispering as shapes materialized in the very stone around us, the remnants of the civilization rushing back like memories, sights, and sounds layering over one another, tangled in the ethereal threads of history. One vision revealed a cavern, a source of power pulsing like the beat of a heart, luring figures into its depths amid clamor and urgency. A tech-driven race for dominance and survival. Others showed frightened inhabitants warned too late, shadows lurking, chaos erupting in the shadows of war. I staggered back, the torrent of visions churning in my mind. "What happened here?" I breathed, the weight of suffering constricting my chest. "Ambition, wronged," the Malorian explained, sorrow clinging to the vibrations in its voice. A greed spiraled through this civilization, blind to the price of their desires. A thread pulled within me awakened dread, shadowed by pieces piecing themselves together. And the tech we sought. I pointed toward the visions flickering like broken dreams. Is it the same? Yes, the Malorian said, the voice a sorrowful echo. And if your leader seeks it, she inevitably walks the same thread. That ancient energy tied to the chaos that once led to war. Brenna, I whispered, fear and recognition knitting together. She's using us to pursue something dangerous. Dangerous, the Malorian repeated. Its luminescent features shimmered with sorrow, but not without purpose, without mindful intent. Yet in chaos lies opportunity for new beginnings. With each revelation, the shadows twisted within the recesses of my heart. How can we stop this? I asked before the words left my lips, instinctively knowing that once spoken, I too would be accountable. The power she seeks rests beneath, the Malorian replied, shifting its form toward the heart of the ruins. But to find it, you must traverse the depths where choices await. Through the portal, the energy beam, Oral exclaimed. It's not safe, indeed. Yet if you intend to confront your leader, you must understand the choices that brought you here, Lyra said, stepping forward, emboldened. All paths converge upon the nexus of the past. In a flash of determination, I felt clarity like a cosmic jolt. Then we follow, I declared, adrenaline coursing through my veins, fueled by responsibility and awakening purpose. We have to confront her. Every ambition has roots. The portal awaits, the Malorian said, its form flickering, eyes glimmering like ancient wisdom reflected in a mirror. Surrounding me, the shadows of my allies, Oral and Lyra, stirred to life, their solidarity igniting within me. We drew fingers entwined with fate, surrendering to the unknown even as trepidation churned beneath our skin. Stepping forward into the depth of twilight, the ethereal embrace of the portal reverberated, beckoning us closer to the unknown. Heed your resolve, the Malorian said softly, warmth radiating from its form, for the storm shall guide your way. Beyond chaos, find the truth. With a final glance among us, shared solidarity illuminated by burgeoning purpose, we stepped into the portal's glimmering embrace. The world around us swirled, colors intertwining like threads of fate, weaving together stories outside the limits of our understanding. Time became fluid and reality bent and stretched. Light enveloped us and we surrendered into it, hearts synchronized to the echo of discovery. What awaited us on the other side lay veiled in uncertainty, yet there was no turning back. Each heartbeat surged with relentless anticipation, threading us to the choices that hovered ahead. One choice marking the demarcation between darkness and light. As the light fractured and we spilled into the depths of the storm, the universe held its breath, unveiling a tapestry woven with threads of ambition, fate, and choice, a destiny eager for exploration amidst shadows thirsting for illumination. For once, amidst uncertainty and surging chaos, we danced, a confluence of determination, ready to face whatever awaited us, trusting our hearts to light the way forward. The spiraling vortex of light spat us out into an alien landscape, living mosaic of color and movement. The terrain around us undulated with an unsettling vitality, the ground thrumming like a heartbeat beneath our feet, pulsating with an energy that felt intimately connected to the fabric of the universe itself. Silvery flora towered like ancient spires, leaves shimmering and whispering secrets to one another in a language we could not comprehend. I turned to Oral and Lyra, our small contingent of weary warriors amidst an expansive unknown. The unease radiated from us as we processed the collision of sights and sounds looming around us. Where are we? Oral murmured, all punctuating his voice, a mixture of wonder and dread shifting under the surface. It might as well be another world, Lyra replied, squinting against the vivid luminescence. The air hummed in synchronicity with the vibrant energy embedded in this landscape. But the resonance is familiar. The ancient energy remains. Yet with every breath, another heaviness settled in my chest. We need to find the nexus, I said, solidifying the resolve that coursed through my thoughts. If Brenna's after this power, she has to be nearby. We can't lose her to whatever darkness lies here." Lyra nodded, conviction etched on her face. "Then we move. I can feel the currents guiding us, but beware. The deeper you journey, the more it will challenge your resolve." As if in response to her words, shadows slithered just beyond the periphery of my vision, a languid pulse of darkness that sent a shiver racing down my spine. I glanced at Oral, the uncertainty clouding his face reflecting my own fears. We pressed forward, a trio navigating this strange world, each step bringing us deeper into the embrace of life intertwined with ancient power. Pulses reverberated through the air, a music only our hearts could hear. Trees bowed as we passed, foliage clapped together in rhythm, as if inviting us deeper into their sacred embrace. "Keep your resolve close," Lyra repeated quietly, her voice resonating with wisdom gained through trials unseen. The undercurrents swirled around us, colliding with the energy we now sensed beckoning in the distance. Before us, a cliff descended into a darkened cavity, a yawning mouth that seemed to lead directly into the belly of the earth. "This must be it," I said, pointing with determination at the cavern ahead, the nexus, the heart of the power. As we approached the gaping entrance, I felt the energy vibrate beneath our feet, resonating in time with the pulse of our hearts. "Are you both ready?" I turned to meet their gaze, trying to summon strength in the shared uncertainty. "Whatever lies ahead, we'll face it together." Oral inhaled sharply, bracing himself against the reality looming in front of us. "Let's do this," he said, his voice wavering slightly but imbued with unwavering resolve. Lyra stepped forward, the shadows belonging to her as much as the light danced about her being. In that moment, we stepped into the cavern's embrace. The passage twisted and turned like a living organism, a maze that seemed intent on exploring the depths of our fears and hopes. The cavern walls shimmered with countless crystalline formations, each one reflecting flecks of light that painted the darkness into something bright and beautiful. "It's incredible," I murmured as we moved deeper, unable to suppress the wonder that washed over me. "This is just the beginning," whispered Lyra, her voice lilting in harmony with the glimmering surroundings. Shadows danced along the walls, but they did not terrify me. Rather, they invited contemplation, echoes of choices past, resonating with struggles engraved in both flesh and memory. Deeper still, it became harder to push away the growing pulse, a very real force that reverberated against my ribcage, calling to me. And then, abruptly, the passage opened into a vast chamber, larger than I had imagined, a heart of this living world. The chamber radiated light, imbued with vibrant colors that coalesced into an ever-shifting kaleidoscope. And in the center stood a dazzling crystal pulsing rhythmically, an enormous shard of energy drawing upon the storms surrounding it. "Is that the energy source?" Oral breathed, his wide eyes reflecting the brilliance. "Yes," Lyra confirmed, her voice barely a whisper. "But it's more than just power. It's a manifestation of intention. We're not merely here to witness. We must be part of it." My pulse quickened as I stepped closer. Instinctively, I reached for the colossal crystal, its surface cool yet humming with potential. The moment my fingers grazed the surface, a wave of energy surged through me, illuminating every corner of my being. Whispers of memories echoed in the chamber, a dance of truth and regrets, choices long made sparking like stars igniting in the vast cosmic night. Images rushed forth, memories not my own but woven within the fabric of the nexus, of those who had sought this power before. I fell to my knees, gasping at the revelations. The paths they treaded were born of ambition, of fear. Choices that shaped destinies, I rasped, connecting the dots between the history of the ruins and our own struggles. This was not just a quest, it was a communion with everything that had come before us. Oral knelt beside me, eyes wide with awe, clutching my shoulder as if to ground himself amid the cosmic tide. "What does it mean?" he stammered, bewildered but electric at the edge of realization. "It means Brenna is facing the same choice," I breathed, and we have the chance to break the cycle of conflict, to guide her through this labyrinth before it consumes her. Lyra stepped closer to the crystal, but we cannot fight fate. We have to be willing to embrace the energy, understand what drives us as we confront the past. With a sharp exhalation, I grasped Lyra's arm, urgency flashing through me. Let's use this connection to reach her, before it's too late. As if answering my call, the energy from the crystal shifted, swirling like tendrils drawn together by intention. I focused on the pulsating mass, pouring every ounce of my being into the connection, seeking to weave a thread that could reach Brenna, to resonate with her essence. Light sparked, growing brighter as it pulsed with radiant energy, filling the chamber with surging power. An echo of our hopes and fears anchoring us against the weight of grief. Oral and Lyra joined me, touching the crystal's surface, grounding our intentions together. In a flash, figures emerged from this luminous tapestry, fragments of our former selves and echoes of choices long past. Brenna, I called out, a surge of connection spanning the void. Wherever you are, see us, feel us. Suddenly the image sharpened, illuminating her form. A silhouette suspended in chaos as she thrived at the edge of destruction. Bright storms crackled around her, shadows looming ever closer, pulling her deeper into the depths of ambition's grasp. I felt her desperation, a tangle of ambition and lost dreams, our destinies tightly woven together. We're here. Oral shouted through the echo of visions, his voice threading power into the current. Don't let it consume you. In the distance, her figure flickered, uncertainty clouding her expression. The storms raged, threatening to consume her every step, and yet I felt the hope ripple through the energy, an unbroken thread of connection spanning the distance. Brenna, you are not alone. Lyra called out, her presence illuminating the connection, tying us together, each heartbeat merging into the fabric of the universe. You have the power to choose. Turn back before the chaos claims you. Tension thickened as the figure trembled. The storm's chaos growing ever closer, but within every heartbeat echoed a choice, a thread of redemption. Come to me, I urged, pouring everything into that connection. The gravity of consequences and love stitched together beneath the surface. In that moment, Brenna halted, her hesitation quaking, the storm cresting its waves ever closer. And then she turned, locking eyes with the shimmering connection we forged. The void between us crackled with energy, culminating in raw potential as she reached for us. The light erupted from the crystal in brilliant splendor, illuminating the darkness, and the space around us pulsed with the promise of unity. As the chaos loomed, the energies converged, our souls entwined against despair and the beckoning storm. Each moment echoed with urgency, and I could finally sense her choice. The hope nestled into the chaos, the potential to steer both our fates all at once. Come back home, Brenna, I shouted, heart racing in a desperate plea. Find the light within the chaos, embrace it. The light ruptured through the darkness, shattering the hold of the storm, a radiant pulse reaching toward her, encircled by tendrils of fate unmaking the dark. Each heartache and joy blended into an unbreakable chain, and at last she moved toward us. The space warped as the universe held its breath, and we reached across the chasm, arms outstretched through the ether of possibility, tenacious as we bridged the distance in a triumphant union. Together, we cried, our voices synchronizing with the pulse of destiny, tethered through courage and newfound clarity. And within that kaleidoscope of reality, we felt her presence surge as Brenna leaped toward our beacon of hope, breaking free from the grip of despair. The bond strengthened beneath the weight of our choices. The storm roared, but as she joined us, the cacophony receded, revealing the pulsating heart of the nexus. A promise to illuminate the dark. The light encased us, enveloping our fears and dreams alike. And I realized in that moment that we were more than seekers. We were architects of our own destinies, each choice ringing out, connected to the universe, illuminating paths yet untraveled. We could transcend the chaos, for together we were bound by love, forged in fire, united to face the darkness woven through our worlds, embracing a future where hope was ours to define. As the energies fused and painted the air around us, we sealed our collective resolve, ready to step into whatever lay beyond. The nexus awaited, our destinies intricate and woven within the tapestry of time, connected in both purpose and intention, charged with everything we would become. For within choice lay the power to transcend both past and dark, a storm upon the horizon whispering secrets yet untold, our hearts beating true against the lingering shadows of ambition and despair, threaded together, reaching for the light. The chamber throbbed with a rhythmic pulsing, lighter now as the chaos faded into the recesses of our consciousness. We stood encircled around the heart of the nexus, catching our breath as the luminous shadows danced like memories across the crystalline walls. The energy hummed, wrapping around us as if it were alive, and together we had summoned the courage and hope to unite against the storm. "Brenna," I called out, mind still buzzing from the exhilarating connection we had forged across the vast divide. "Are you with us?" Together we had beckoned her back, and a pulse of warmth surged in my chest, leading me to believe she was close, hovering at the edge of decision. The air shimmered with anticipation, like the calm before a storm, a stillness pregnant with the potential of what might unfold. But we didn't have the luxury of time. We began to hear echoes, conversations layered upon one another, as if time distorted like reflections in a fractal mirror. "We're not alone," Oral said, glancing around warily, his earlier bravado flickering as he sensed the weight of our situation deepening. The lingering shadows thickened, hinting at the emergence of ideas once buried, and emanations of choice swirled in the air. Lyra shot a glance toward the mouth of the cave, her brow creasing with uncharacteristic intensity. "If she's truly come to the Nexus, we will face not just her ambitions, but also the consequences that ripple through time and choice." Heavy silence hung around us, enshrouded by uncertainty as we followed the energy that thrummed around us, an invitation shimmering with quiet determination. I could not help but think of Brenna's ambitions and the maze woven by her choices, twisting and turning to bring us here. At that moment it happened, the shimmer coalesced, ethereal light burst forth, and from the center of the cavern Brenna materialized, suspended in a halo of energy. Her figure shimmered, reflecting fragments of past and potential. A library of choices hung in the air, drawing in every heartbeat and vision, her expression wrought with uncertainty. "Seb, Oral, Lyra," she exclaimed breathlessly, her voice resonating through the chamber. It bounced off the walls, sending ripples of familiarity diving deep into our souls. "I found you." My heart surged with relief mingling with concern as I caught the conflict flaring in her darkened eyes, flooded with myriad possibilities. But even beyond her presence, I could feel a storm brewing around her, a tempest of ambition trying to claim her will. "Brenna, we're here." I stepped forward, moving through the waves of energy that pulsed around us, reaching for her. "We came for you. You don't have to do this alone." But instead of stepping eagerly toward me, she hesitated, eyes darting toward the crystal at the center of the chamber, her face wrestling with the shadows of ambition and regret. "I need this power, Seb. I need to understand it, to master it. We were so close when we were here before." "But at what cost?" Lyra interjected, stepping beside me with fierce protectiveness. "What you desire will not only affect you, it could resonate through time and the very fabric of existence. Are you ready to take that risk?" Brenna's eyes flashed with emotion, a tempest raging as doubt encircled her thoughts. "Doubt, the galaxy has pushed us to the edge. How can I falter in this moment? We can change everything." I pressed on, lowering my voice to break through her mounting turbulence. "But at what price, Brenna? You've seen what happened here. The echoes of ambition have the power to twist into chaos, and we could lose ourselves in the dark." The energy swirled again, illuminating paths intertwined with shimmering memories, visions of lost civilizations echoing perilously close. A cacophony of voices and choices falling away as if the memories themselves bore the ache of fading. "Flowing through that power are the echoes of lives preceding us," Lyra said softly, her own vulnerability shining through. "It's not simply a tool, it's a choice, a multi-faceted truth that will bind or free you in the end." Brenna faltered as our words settled like dew, a realization glistening within her resolve and essence. You mean my choices aren't just about ambition? They shape everything around me. Yes, I replied, grounding her with determined energy, and they bring us here. We're not merely seeking power for ourselves, we're wielding the potential to understand better. Knowledge is a two-edged sword. The revelation shimmered in her mind, and I could see the tumult begin to soften. The power beneath the crystal pulsed, resonating with an empathetic flicker, a drawing force that called our souls to attention. Come here, Brenna, Oral urged, gesturing with open arms toward us. We were more than individuals. We were a bond fortified through sacrifice and tenacity. Brenna stepped toward us, hesitation etched deeply across her brow, a resistance born from the weight of the choices laid out before her. I want to change the world, but I fear that my intentions may not bear the light I hope for. The waves of energy flowed through the chamber, and I could sense a deeper understanding threading between us. It's okay to feel fear, Brenna. It's what you choose to do with that fear that defines your future, I replied, reaching toward her, my pulse surging as the boundary's first fractals of light sparked anew. In that moment, something shifted. I felt her resolve begin to intertwine with ours. Your purpose doesn't solely lie in the ambitions you seek, but in the relationships you nurture, Elira added, her aura radiating understanding. They are your anchors against the storm. As if propelled by the very essence of unity, Brenna moved the final steps toward us, her voice trembling. Together, then. We share this burden, this power. I want to reconcile, to make these decisions count. And in that breath, the chamber erupted with radiance, the luminous energy pulsating as if celebrating the rekindled connections. A cascade of light enveloped us, uniting our fates. Engage with the energy, collaborate together and consciously, Lyra instructed, her voice steady. Focus on what you want, what you truly need. Gathering her resolve, Brenna turned to face the crystal. A single bead of determination settled in her eyes like a flame igniting against the night. The energy surged within us, and I could feel her essence alive and electric, a laser of clarity igniting the air as we pressed onward. Together we reached forth, our fingers brushing against the crystal, the brilliance illuminating every fragment of our hopes, as if knitting our intentions securely. The thoughts we channeled coalesced into a tethered tapestry, hopes, fears, resolutions merging into a clarion call. As the energy surged, we felt ourselves pulled deeper, falling into a delicate whirl, a cascade of possibilities. The visions seemed to lock around us, spiraling faster and faster. A cyclone of memories and future impulses swirling together, teetering on the edge of transformation. Light and shadow intertwined as I saw flitting images of the storm looming outside. An echo of despair mingled with the chaos now gone. A juxtaposition of chaos and unity that we would have to face, leaving behind the remnants of ambition rooted in a twisted grip. And there I saw it, Brenna's face at the threshold of reckoning. This will lead us beyond the storm, I implored. Where we emerge into something meaningful, we can forge a new connection, a shared path. As we fell deeper, memories materialized, fragments of discarded lives searching for connections. Each flicker became a glimpse of hope, a truth drawn together against the tempest we would face outside. Let it represent change, I shouted, feeling the strands of our collective will tightening around us like a protective cocoon. Your choices lead to new worlds. We can redefine everything. With that affirmation, the storm beyond the nexus roared, resonating back towards us, but within it swelled a glow, a chance for redemption emerging from the chaos. We were not merely survivors wandering through the shadows. We were explorers crafting a new narrative from the flickers of light. As the rush of possibilities blurred our surroundings, the cascading force enveloped us, and my heart thundered beneath the weight of our communion. We had seen the darkness, and here we would transform it. Bound by choice, fear lashed against the urge to retreat. But the clarity ignited, at the center of chaos lay the seed of rebirth. Far beyond, we glimpsed our path unite, threaded with luminance, possibility, and storms brewing. Together, we braced against the energy around us. We rose, fueled by the legacy of our intentions. Heartbeats synchronized, voices filling the air with the cries of creation, fear transformed into determination, melding to form the foundation of our new beginning as we prepared for what awaited outside. An uncharted horizon pulsing with the glow of transformation. With every heartbeat, the connection strengthened. These decisions, consecrated in the light of our unity, carved paths through the chaos that sought to ensnare us. And in the heart of the storm, we would forge our destinies anew. Onward, I breathed, feeling the energy spark around us as the storm roared, but we remained rooted together, preparing to challenge it, embodying the strength of ambition that led to hope. Onward, echoed the other two, a declaration to slice through darkness, a promise to embrace the power of light, threaded through our choices as we ascended into the unknown, ready to face whatever the universe had in store for us, united, an unbreakable force against the tempest beyond. The journey had only just begun, but together we would ignite change, breathing life into the echoes of ambition once lost and replace them with a legacy blooming toward a brighter future. As the storm awaited, so did our courage, a song threaded together to pierce the chaos and light the way. We weren't merely chasing shadows. We were the architects of breath in our shared fates. As we took that first step into the fury awaiting us, I realized that we were reborn balanced upon the edges of destiny, a threefold force aimed at transforming this universe, held together by fierce hope and relentless choice. And so we stepped out, alive, united, and forever changed. The storm beckoned, and we would answer. Thunder rattled through the atmosphere as the storm outside raged, a tempest of chaos colliding with the collective pulse of our extraordinary bond. Together, we stood rooted within the shimmering nexus, hearts intertwined, principle guiding our steps as we braced against the chaos beyond the crystal's luminescence, a harbinger of the possibilities our shared resolve promised. "Are you ready?" I whispered to Brenna, feeling the electric energy coursing around us, our combined intent shaping the very air. The glow pulsed with anticipation, urging us to remember that the crossroads of fate awaited our decisive actions. Brenna inhaled deeply, searching my eyes for courage, and I nodded firmly. Together, Brenna, we're in this as one." My voice resonated with conviction, and it seemed to amplify the connection thrumming in the air, binding us even closer to the crystalline power swaying before us. Lyra stood at my side, her form radiant against the shimmering glow of fate, and Oral hovered close, eyes steady with purpose. The storms were not merely tempestuous gales, but echoes of ambition reflected in our struggles. We were stepping out to confront the very hearts of our decisions, the choices that shaped the destinies entwined in a cosmic dance. Whatever lies ahead, we embrace it together. Oral's voice carried a reassuring weight, our solidarity juxtaposed against the approaching chaos. The energy around us buzzed, vibrating with raw potential. We moved toward the edge of the cavern, where the stone mouth opened wide to the flood of stormy light outside. My heart raced in tandem with the electrifying current that surged through my veins, intertwining with the crackling emotions of my companions. Fear mingled with determination. It was a familiar sensation now, one that encapsulated the weight of our ambitions. As we crossed the threshold, the harsh winds and swirling darkness enveloped us, an overwhelming surge that threatened to pull us apart. Striking cheeks and trembling breaths became a cauldron of sensations. Chaos spun around us, but within the tumult we anchored one another, arms finding purchase in resolve, voices harmonizing as a fabric of unity against the storm that sought to tear us down. The familiar sight of Cora Prime unfolded before us, but now it was different, charged with an electric energy that rippled through the air. The storm seethed with life, shadows morphing and twisting into whispers that echoed the trials we already faced. "A focus," Brenna urged, urgency etched in her tone. "We must locate the ground team before the hunters descend on us." Trust surged through the air, and I clasped her hand, feeling the warmth of her spirit intertwine with mine, reminders of all we had endured. We pressed on through the tumultuous weather, heartbeats synced in synchrony with the elemental fury raging around us. The ruins spawned a surreal landscape, familiar yet transformed, blurring the lines between chaos and beauty. Fragments of ancient technologies dotted the ground, reminders of the civilization that had once thrived here. A living history waiting to be rekindled. Squinting into the wind, I caught fleeting glimpses of movement beyond the confines of the ruins. Shadows poised on the precipice of chaos. They were here, the ship. Hunters haunting the storm, ever watchful for their next prey. There, I shouted, breaking through the roar. A look, beyond the swirling strings of dark clouds, a sleek ship emerged, cutting through the rain like a knife, its silhouette glistening ominously. "That's their contact ship," Oral said, eyes narrowing. "We must hurry before they detach and move in closer." Elira moved forward, her form pulsing with rhythmic energy. "Let's find cover." Together, we ducked behind a crumbled structure, scanning the area. My pulse quickened, thrilled by the dance of survival we had entered. Now it was a game of strategy. "Brenna, what's the plan?" Oral whispered, his breath quickening under the weight of his realization that our move into confrontation was imminent. With her brow furrowed in concentration, Brenna surveyed the storm and the ship, hunters navigating through it. "We need to distract them, create a diversion. We can use the old tech scattered around here," she murmured, her voice wreathed in determination. "I remember some ruins on the southwest corner. We can initiate some of their machinery. It should be enough to draw their focus." We turned our trust from one another into action, the plan formed like an unbreakable bond. As we slipped from the ruins' cover, we moved with coordination born from hours of negotiation and summit. Zeal guided us closer, determination threading through our instincts. The storm roared, fright cloaked in its resonance, yet amidst the gusts, a flicker of hope ignited in our spirits. We traversed the fractured stones, weaving around the ancient artifacts lingering like forgotten memories, technologies alive with untapped potential. "Here," I exclaimed, uncovering an old control panel buried beneath debris, its surface cracked yet pulsing faintly. "We can manipulate this to create an overload. We just need to power it up and redirect it toward the hunter's direction." The air crackled with anticipation as the ancient mechanisms groaned, awaiting our call to arms. "Let's do this," Brenna said, her eyes glimmering with resolve, and we sprung into action. "Oral, focus on those wires. Lyra, I'll need your energy channeling through the power flow." "I'll monitor and adjust. The pulse should give us what we need." I watched as Oral and Lyra worked in tandem, the synergy of their shared resolve illuminating our space. The world pressed close, storms swirling around us in chaotic symphony, yet we remained coalesced. As the panel flashed, I could almost hear the laughter from the past, the vibrations of those lost dreams echoing across the ages. The remnants whispered promises, urging us to rise, to reclaim the future from the storm's grasp. The old tech came alive beneath our touch. Ancient mechanisms rumbled to life, flashing patterns that synchronized with the building currents of energy around us. "Almost there," I shouted above the shriek of wind and electric charge as Oral maneuvered the wiring, hands steady like the broken rhythm of fate itself. "Elira, attune your energy, the power is surging." The air thickened with anticipation, possibilities colliding amidst the echoes of our consciousness. In a wave of electrifying light, the panel erupted with energy. A brilliant flash illuminated the darkness, cascading outwards like fireworks, capturing the remnants of the storm in audacious defiance. And now, Brenna's voice was a battle cry. We jumped back just as the panel shattered, redirecting a stream of power toward the marauding ship. Hunters. The force exploded in an arc across the ruins, illuminating the surroundings as if day broke anew in the midst of chaos. The hunters, caught momentarily off guard, scrambled beneath the onslaught as warmth intertwined with fortune bound by resolve. "Let's move," I yelled as the energy burst boomed powerful rays against the storm, scattering the shadows that threatened to engulf us. Together, we sprinted, navigating the perimeter of chaos, hearts pounding with the momentum of our success, every breath fueling our determination to outpace the hunters. Around us, the storm raged, its voice simmering beneath our steady resolve. But now, we were not mere survivors flailing about blindly. We were architects of our destinies, knowing that each passing moment elevated us closer to the elusive goal that loomed in the crucible. "Hurry," Oral urged, the winds howling around us as we reached the far edge of the ruins, not yet out of danger. We need another plan. Where do we regroup? Keep an eye on the ship, Brenna shouted, surveying the undulating shadows dancing above us. We have to get to higher ground. There's an old observation post hidden nearby. We can see their movements from there. It felt surreal, this ballet of survival. The storm pushed against us, yet anchored in unity, we pushed onward. Pulse after pulse, we raced toward the knowledge that lay within the chambers, guiding our instincts. The connection, threading through our courage, igniting paths unseen. The ruins transformed with each heartbeat, a maze familiar yet formidable, the echoes of unseen guardians whispering through the dense air. We rounded the final corner, catching our breath, hearts still synchronized in rhythm mirroring the storm. There, the observation post loomed a shadowed silhouette, wet draped in memories lost, a promise ready to unfurl as we ascended its ramp. The view commanded my attention, drawing me to the horizon where Cora Prime's complex beauty stretched beneath the relentless chaos. Climbing higher, we reached the post. The majestic storm loomed overhead, revealing the shimmering ship of the hunters once again. Look, Oral involuntarily gasped as we took in the sight. The ship caught in the turmoil, intuitive and brutal, caught between the maelstrom and uncertainty. There's our chance, Brenna pointed. If we can take them out now, we can turn the tide. The blood surged through my veins as adrenaline ignited our resolve. I'll take the lead, I declared, adrenaline coursing through my veins as I fastened my grip around an ancient weapon, restlessly vibrating at my side, the weapon charged with remnants of old magic that pulsed like my own heartbeat, whispering of destiny. Stay low and watch your angles. Brenna's voice steadied, cementing our purpose as a tapestry. A united front against the chaos we aimed to sever. Eyes governed to prevent the unthinkable. Let's move, Lyra echoed, her voice a guiding flame in the dark storm, and we descended from the observation post, instincts carving our path as we navigated the unknown. Underneath the residual hum of hope, we prepared to forge ahead, dispelling the shadows. Now, we were not simply pawns winding through the storm. We were flames yearning to illuminate the night, seeking to etch our mark upon the journey, challenging fate in the promise of tomorrow. As the storm thundered above us, a cacophony of voices swirling through the fabric of space, our hearts entwined echoing the song of reignition. We raced into the impending storm, ready to etch our legacies in the lustrous glow of history reborn. The battered ruins of Cora Prime rose like ancient giants around us, absorbing the sound of the storm above, an angry beast announcing our presence. We crested the last rise and laid eyes on the hunter's ship. Sleek, menacing, cutting through the air with the certainty of predation. It hovered just above the remnants of a shattered structure, its dark body glistening with rain, a stark reminder of the dangers that lurked in the wake of ambition. Focus, I commanded, feeling the weight of my words settle over my companions. We gripped our weapons with resolve, a trio of united forces ready to challenge the chaos. Brenna, if we can disrupt their systems, we might be able to take them off guard. She nodded, determination flashing through her eyes. We have to reach the generator. If I can overcharge it, we can create enough of a diversion to escape. Eager energy pulsed within us, buoyed by purpose and the undeniable connection we had formed. It felt almost surreal, like stepping into a dream where every heartbeat melded into the cosmos. A tapestry woven by stars. The ship shone like an alluring siren, but danger lingered beneath. It was time to turn the tide. We weaved through the debris, drawing nearer to the ship while instinctively using the ruins as cover. The storm flared around us, a relentless assault that echoed our determination. I staggered forward carefully, straining my senses outward. The vibrations in the air danced with insight, allowing me to gauge the movements of the ship. Hunters patrolling the perimeter. There, Oral breathed softly, his voice barely cutting through the persistent growl of thunder. He pointed to an access panel hidden beneath tattered metal, likely their system's weak point. If we can get in there and cut the power, then we create the diversion, I finished, already plotting our approach. Adventure coursed through our blood as we crept closer, shields raised and hearts synchronized, drawing on the spirit of the Nexus, the warmth tangling within strands of hope. "Ready," I whispered, my voice steely with intent. Our eyes met, and we all absorbed the unwavering resolve in each other's gazes. Now, Brenna surged forward, her body propelled by fierce ambition. She gripped her weapon and charged into the fray, drawing the attention of the ship, hunters lingering outside. The resonance of our combined energy pulsed through the air, and the darkness of the storm behind us seemed to fade, bolstered by an electric charge sparking through the debris. With a swift motion, Brenna activated the armament, releasing a burst of illumination that cut across the darkened ruins. The hunter's ship flared in response, and the patrols turned their focus toward her, momentarily distracted by the clash of energies. "Go, now," she yelled, urgency igniting her words. We bolted toward the access panel, Oral leading the charge. His hands worked frantically to unseal it, fingers dancing across the machinery, the familiar arc of tech sparking with potential. "Come on," he urged, his breath heavy with adrenaline. We almost got it. Within moments, the panel hissed open, eavesdropping on the ship's core, and through the gap, an ominous pulse emanated, resonating with the storm's harmony. I squeezed through the small space behind Oral and Lyra, each heartbeat echoing amid unsung chaos. "Brenna, cover us!" I shouted as she aimed her weapon into the void, pouring her will into the glow surrounding the ship. A rippling essence surged forth, stunning the crew on board. "Be quick," she called back, and the ship thumped with the intoxicating hum of energy. Inside, the air buzzed with urgency. Alarms blared, cutting through the stillness, a chorus of panic as we descended into the depths of the ship, maneuvering through complex machinery that spiraled inward, calling us deeper. Oral led the way, eyes quickly scanning the vessel's layers of technology. "There," he shouted, pointing toward a series of conduits connected to the generator. "We need to disrupt the main power flow. On it," I replied, scrambling forward and maneuvering between complex wires, my heart pounding in rhythm with our actions. The hum of energy was intoxicating, as I felt the pulse of fate converge, a chain reaction eager to take hold. "Look out!" Oral's exclamation sliced through the air, awakening us to the foe behind. The crew had begun to arrive, and suddenly the ship transformed. Darkness and shadows melded, enveloping us within a twisted realm of danger. I had only a moment to react as a hunter lunged for me, weapon raised. Instinct took over, the fight coursing through my veins. Gravity shifted as I sidestepped. The weapon barely grazed my shoulder, but the adrenaline surged, igniting clarity in the chaos. With a swift movement, I drew the blade from my side and met his swing. The clash echoed, a scream layered through cries of chaos that engulfed the ship. My blade connected with steel, sending sparks flying. "Keep fighting," Brenna shouted as she unleashed another bolt of energy against the advancing crew. "We can't let them regroup." Lyra stood sentinel by the panel, her aura shimmering with resolve as she channeled power from the ship. "Hurry," she urged me, resentment coiling through her fierce gaze. A fury ignited in the context of our choices, surging forward like a wave of thunder. The energy coiled around us, mingling with our determination. "Just a bit more." Oral's voice rang clear, the stress mounting as he twisted knobs and pulled wires. Before I could register the next moment, I was whisked back into the energy's flow, the adrenaline racing against the odds. Time contracted. In this vortex of choices, I caught glimpses of our reflection, the convergence of purpose, fear, and hope. Now, Brenna called, her voice breaking through the haze of our shared focus. I surged forward, striking the conduits as Oral showed me how to draw out the energy. A brilliant illumination swirled through my veins. With a final jolt, I sliced through the core, severing the connections that tied us to chaos. The ship shuddered violently around us as power surged into a cataclysmic eruption. "Get out!" Lyra shouted, and we scrambled toward the exit as the generator overload initiated sparks of brilliance across the dimly lit chamber. Everything started to twist and shake, the energy pulsing wildly against the walls as it shivered and rumbled, begging for release. "Go, go," I yelled, urging Odell and Brenna onward. We sprang back into the open air, the maelstrom waiting beyond, an invitation to flee before the chaos before us erupted in ripples. "Launch everything," Brenna commanded as we scrambled up to the higher ground. An unseen power drove us onward, igniting our initiative against the shadows around us. Beneath the storm, the hunter's ship blinked with a furious glow, the signals fluctuating wildly as the howling winds grew thicker. A tremendous burst ignited behind us as we reached safety near the broken stone. The darkness erupted, casting deafening roars, my heart pounding nearly out of my chest, fueled by the uncertainty of fates unspooled. "We did it," Oral cried breathlessly, yet the excitement lingered brittle knowingly. A whirlwind of energy crackled behind us like a bolt of cosmic mischief, engulfing wreckage as the impact shattered everything around it. The ship was caught in the maelstrom, and with it, their power strings were severed, uprooted from the chaos that had sought to ensnare us. For a moment, we stood united, the storm swirling around our bodies, washed in the echoes of victory, as shadows melted beneath the radiant light of what we had achieved. But the storm had not quelled entirely. The echoes echoed all around us, and the sirens called over the howl of wind, warning us that we were not alone. Danger loomed still like shadows entwined in the dim light. As we steadied ourselves on the precipice, we felt the weight of choices crystallizing within us. Our pasts mingled in the storm, the remnants of ambition and ties formed by camaraderie. We had betrayed fear, and the destiny we fought for awaited in, tangled threads still shimmering along the horizon. "We can't stay here," Brenna breathed fiercely, her resolve igniting a fire within us. "They'll come for us. Let's find our way back to the Aurelius," I replied, urgency pulling. "We can't let this be our end. There's still so much to discover." The storm howled, echoing the resonance of our breath, faith swirling through our veins, encouraging us to move forward. As we sprinted through the jagged landscape, dodging debris and shadows, each step united our essence in a newfound strength. A reminder that ambition conjured strength forged in the spirit of camaraderie. The storm kicked up around us, wind pulling us closer, binding us ever tighter, an unyielding whirlwind of our determination. Together, Oral shouted, defiance blazing in his eyes as we powered through the remnants of desolation toward the way back. The fate awaiting beyond the storm, where possibility danced along with freedom. And as we rounded the corner to seek our ship, the shadows overtook us like a tide, determined to reshape our destiny beneath the weight of ambition unspent, an inviting melody woven through endless possibility. The storm screamed as we broke into the clearing where the Aurelius stood silently, resolutely, bathed in ethereal light beneath the shadows, beckoning us into its embrace once more, just as I felt the threads of the past crinkle beneath our hearts. Now, we forged ahead into the darkness united, recognizing hope still flickered against chaos, the sweet release of ambition no longer burdened by uncertainty, and the promise of a future waiting to be rewritten. Onward, I shouted, adrenaline surging as we began running toward the Aurelius, ready to embrace destiny together. We would redefine our truths, commit to our choices, and carve out a path that illuminated even the darkest storms. And amidst the chaos, we had come alive, spurred forth into the embrace of possibility. With each step, the weight of our choices resonated within our hearts as the shadows coalesced around us. We were more than just seekers. We were both guardians and architects of our own fates, daring to face whatever lay ahead as we made our daring escape. The tempest roared behind us, but our journey was spun in light. We had studied the storm, dissected its chaos, and emerged stronger. As we slid back into the cockpit of the Aurelius, I caught one last glimpse of the lightning coursing through the clouds, weaving together all the tension we had resolved. "You ready?" Brenna asked, her fire flickering strong. Ready, I confirmed, heart swelling with gratitude toward this crew, a band brought together in the storm. We turned the ship toward the horizon, leaving the crumbling remnants behind, the past forged in our endeavors, hopes laid bare. With the catalyst of our ambitions, we soared forth from chaos into the dawn, hearts entwined, as the ship ignited into flight, carrying us toward the unfolding tapestry of the universe where everything awaited. Together we carved our path anew amidst the storm, echoes of ambition resonating with clarity, ready to uncover the mysteries that unraveled in the dance of fate. A journey unfolding, vibrant with light and the promise of a transformative future, bound together as a family. And so, we launched into the embrace of the void, discovering the essence of who we could become as the stars beckoned us onward, illuminating the legacy we would leave behind. A tale woven into the fabric of time, a testament to the power of choice, and an affirmation that dreams would forever reshape the constellations of possibility.